Remember the 90s? You used to be able to gamble in Pokemon games. Nowadays, society has collapsed because nobody can understand that painful joy of getting Porygon for 9,999 coins. So, do you want to talk about the Pokemon game corners? Like all of them? Like every single one of them? Well, too bad. We're doing that today. Just like in the Pokemon box video, we're going to be hopping from generation to generation until we can't hop to the next generation anymore, because there will be no more game corners. Also, for the sake of this video, I will not be counting areas that have the name Game Corner in them, but you can't gamble at them or spend coins at. I'm clearing this up now because there are 2 areas in the Pokemon games that are called Game Corner, but they're not there for gambling. And I want to be talking about the stuff about gambling and not about these mini games you play with like 2 other people. So yeah, Gen 1, starting from there again. God, you know, one of these days I will not play a Gen 1 Pokemon game ever again. But today is not that day. Gen 1 slots are very simple. You choose whether or not you're going to put 1, 2, or 3 coins in. Depending on how many coins you put in, that'll determine how many lines you can get, and if you can get diagonals or not. Honestly, it's not much to say, it's just a regular slot machine. There's no real gimmicks here. 777 gives you 300 coins. If you get a bar, that gives you 100. Everything else that's a dream match for the most part gets you around 15 coins. The cherries give you around 8. Interestingly enough, Fire Red and Elite Green actually just use the same mechanics here. It's just that it has different sprites that are just more cleaned up. Actually, the only real thing that Fire Red and Elite Green add is that now when you get a cherry by itself, it counts as a win. Well, it's only 2 coins, but it's better than losing, I suppose. Also, if you get 2 cherries, that's 6 coins. It doesn't matter what the 3rd or 2nd slot is when you get a cherry. As long as you get 1 cherry, the game counts that as a win, as opposed to the originals, where it doesn't. Outside of the fact that the slot machines are themed based depending on what version you have, that's really about it. Gen 1 slot machines aren't really deep, but to be fair, they didn't really need to be. It was like a fun little distraction. It's nice, nothing crazy, it works, whatever. Gen 2 slots are basically Gen 1 slots, except now when you get 777 or attempt to get 777, there are a few random things that could happen. One of them is the slots move on their own. Another thing that could happen is their golem that just appear and smash on the machine to maybe move the slot to 777. Or the rarest one is just Chansey using Egg Bomb, and that almost guarantees 777 if you don't have it. But it's basically Gen 1 slots all over again, except now you have a higher chance of getting 777. Gen 2 actually does have another way you can gamble, and that's with this card flipping minigame. Basically, you choose one of these 2 cards at random. Like, it shuffles itself really fast. Honestly, it goes so fast you don't really get a choice. And then from there, you actually choose what you think is going to be under that card. You can choose from a variety of different groups. You can choose whether it was going to be from numbers 1, 2, or 3, 4, 5, 6. You can choose whether or not it's going to be a certain Pokemon. You can choose just one row of numbers, or if you're really ballsy, you can just choose one number and that's it. As the game goes on, it does get easier technically because it removes any of those numbers that were picked before. After 12 cards, the deck is shuffled, and it re-adds any of the old numbers that were picked before, so you have a fresh blank slate. Before making this video, I had no idea that this minigame even existed. But to be fair, the sprite for this does look like a generic slot machine, so I just thought it was just another slot machine. But no, these slot machines aren't actually slot machines. They're this card flipping minigame. So yeah, outside of that though, Gen 2 doesn't really add much. Just this one minigame. That's it. On to Gen 3. We're in Gen 3 now, which means the slot machines are going to get a little bit more complex than they were before. The first major thing that the Gen 3 slots actually add is that now you can actually see how much these symbols pay out for. You don't have to vaguely guess or look up a guide, it's just right there, and I think that's really convenient. Also, pressing R instantly does the highest bet. This is really great because you don't have to constantly press down the D-pad if you plan on playing a lot of slots in a row. Gen 3 adds 2 things to the slot machines this time around. It adds a replay, where if you actually get 3 replays in a row, well, it replays the slots for you for free. That's really nice. There's also these Thunderbolt symbols. These are power. Now at first these things just kind of look like they don't really do much. They add something to your HUD there, which the game doesn't really go into that well. What this is basically doing is the more power you have, the higher of a chance you'll get into the bonus game. Once you get into the bonus game, it actually takes away any power you have stored up. Normally when you play the slots, it actually does skew your stop for a little bit to prevent you from just instantly sniping whatever you're trying to get. The bonus game actually turns this off, which allows you to actually stop your reels more accurately than before. If you're able to keep the bonus game going for long enough, the reels will actually slow down, making it even easier to get what you want. But god damn it, it takes forever to get this. You have to get really good RNG, and that says a lot because I actually had max power, and it still took me a few reels to actually get it. Also, the Emerald slots are apparently slower than the Ruby Sapphire ones. Personally, I don't really see it, but apparently that's a thing, so I might as well mention that while I have the chance here. So that's basically all the slots have to offer. So let's get to the other minigame here that you can play. Yeah, this time around we have a roulette table. There's a few different things you can bet on. You can do a bet by Pokemon, you can do a bet by color, or you can bet on a certain Pokemon and color combination. That one being the hardest because you're only betting on one space compared to the other options which lets you bet on 3 or 4 spaces. Once you've decided on what your bet is going to be, you watch that ball roll, and then from there, you'll see if you won or not. Also, the reward multiplier will go up if you're selecting a row that actually has a win on it, because they can't roll that win anymore, which means you have less chances, which means a higher reward. After 6 balls, the roulette is reset. If a ball is about to land into a space that has another ball in it, it actually will bounce off that ball. If any balls get stuck, there are 2 things that can happen. A Taillow can appear and move the ball, or a Shroomish will come down and smash the board, making the ball move to a random spot on the board. Also, the amount of coins you bet is dependent on the table you pick beforehand. There are only 2 tables. There's a 1 times table and a 3 times table. And that's it for the table, so we covered everything for Gen 3. In my opinion, the slot minigame here is very unreliable whether or not you're going to get a big payout or not. It takes way too long to get to that bonus game if you get it at all. Also, the roulette tables are very underwhelming. You don't make a lot of coins off of them, and they're way more random than the slot machine. At least there is more of the slots than the previous 2 gens, but not by much. Alright. Moving on to Gen 4. First and foremost, let's just get this out of the way. In South Korea and Europe, the game corner is no longer a thing, and if you want to just do anything related to it, you have to buy the coins yourself or find them within the game machines. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but to be fair, this is the last iteration that had game corners. I'm surprised they kept them in for this long. For those unaware, the reason why this change happened is because in Europe, the PEGI ratings board there decided that gambling is something that would be rated higher. Pokemon wants to avoid this. Since Pokemon is known as very family friendly, they want to keep that general rating or that E for everyone rating. So to avoid that, this is the last iteration that has slot machines, and in other regions the slot machines just don't work or that imagery is not there because gambling is bad. South Korea is way more strict about this imagery, so in Diamond and Pearl there's actually almost no references to it at all, where at least in Europe Diamond and Pearl did have the game corner. Anyways, I'm in the US, so I have a US copy of Pokemon Platinum, so none of that actually applies to me. So let's gamble. Right off the bat, you'll actually notice the biggest change here, and that is each reel itself has its own button to stop it. Unlike before, where you stop them from left to right. Now, if you see a symbol that you want that's on another reel, you can just stop that reel first, and then from there, go to the other 2 reels when you see something there that you want. This is actually really important for the bonus game, which you'll actually see a lot more of compared to Gen 3. Getting this bonus game is still random, but it is way more common, and way easier to understand than the one in Gen 3. Here, a different Pokeball will show up on the touchscreen. From there, you're going to have to get either a 777 or 3 Team Galactic symbols. Once you do that, then the bonus game will begin. This bonus game is actually really easy, unless you're me, who forgot everything about it when I started to make this video. Fuck. Basically, Clefairy will tell you what inputs to do in what order. If you correctly follow Clefairy's orders, you'll always win 15 coins. If you don't follow Clefairy's orders correctly, it'll always turn out to be a loss, even if you get it 3 in a row. On the upper left corner of the touchscreen, it'll let you know how many rounds you have left of the bonus game. The bonus game can go for quite a while, because every time it ends, you have a chance of getting it again. This chance is higher depending on what Clefairy you have on your touchscreen. If you have a shiny Clefairy, you have the highest chance of getting the bonus game again. If you have a regular Clefairy, it's just an average amount of chances. And if you have a Ditto Clefairy, it's the lowest amount of chances. Besides the bonus game, the only other noticeable thing is that 777 has a lower payout than it does in the other games. Before, it had a payout of 300, now it only has a payout of 100. So yeah, that's all the Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum slot machines have to offer. So we're pretty much done here, right? So you're probably wondering then, what is this footage of then? You know for a fact after Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver didn't have a slot machine. It just had Voltorb Flip. Well, that's not 100% true. If you're in Japan, congratulations. You got to play the last Pokemon slot machine, and we're gonna have to talk about it right now. So for this time around, Smeargle is your mascot for the slot machine. In these slots, every time you roll the reels, Smeargle's mood is actually affected by it. Depending on if you actually win or not, it'll either affect Smeargle's mood negatively, or it'll affect it positively. This will change the background. The normal background is green, which means there's no special effects in sight. If the background is blue, you're more likely to get Pikachu and Meryl when you roll the slots. Or, if it's red, you have a higher chance of rolling Pokeballs or 777s. When you roll either a 777 or a Pokeball, you'll actually get the bonus game. This bonus game is quite simple. All you have to do is match the Pokemon that Smeargle is drawing. That's it. Usually, the other two reels are already filled out for you, so you just only have to line up one. Eventually, you will have to line up all three reels. Sometimes it plays the reels really fast, sometimes it's really slow. It all depends on how far you are into the bonus game. For the most part, this bonus game is pretty easy. If you get a 777, you only get 15 rounds of the bonus game. If you get a Pokeball, it only lasts for 8 rounds. Outside of payouts varying per machine, that's really all there is to talk about with the Heart Gold, Soul Silver slot machine. Honestly, it's really cool to see this exist at all. I genuinely thought that after Platinum, we weren't going to get any more slot machines. So this last one is nice to see. Afterwards, Pokemon Company decided it would be better to not include any game corners in their future games to avoid any higher ratings. So, from Gen 5 onward, you're not going to find them. In ORAS, there is a reference to the game corner, but all that reference is saying is that the game corner is closed forever, and that's it. It sucks that I kind of do wish the game corner did come back for RS, but there really wasn't anything they could do at that point. I'm pretty sure at this point as well, ESRB was also way more strict, so there was really nothing they could do. At the end of the day, it's easier for the Pokemon Company to get rid of the game corners, as opposed to keeping the game corner and risking that these games will have a higher age rating because of it. It sucks that we'll lose this part of Pokemon history forever, basically. So that was every game corner in every Pokemon game that exists. Sucks we'll never see it again, but it is what it is. So until then, I'll see you later. Bye! Hey everybody, it's End Slate time. If you got this far, thanks for watching this video. It was way shorter than the Pokemon Box video. If you haven't seen the Pokemon Box video, by the way, a link should be somewhere on here. I don't know where. I'd appreciate if you watch that and watch this one and share it around if you thought this stuff was interesting. The next video will take a bit to come out, by the way. I figured I just might as well mention that right off the bat. I have a few ideas, but nothing's set in stone. I don't even know if the next video will be Pokemon related. It might be, it might not be. In the future, I'd like to branch out though and talk about other franchises, but for now, I guess I'm a Pokemon YouTuber. If you liked anything you saw, then please subscribe to my Patreon if you want to. I really appreciate it, and the more patrons I get and the more money I get there, the faster I can put these videos out. I can't just spend a lot of time researching this kind of stuff, and I only really do it in my free time. In fact, this video only came out so quickly because I was sick and I haven't been in work. So when I go back to work, things are going to be a little slower, and plus, it doesn't help I don't have an immediate idea. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who's been watching these videos so far. Thanks a lot. Bye!